That was great. You turned into a totally different person.
Honestly, okay, we've never had somebody actually, I've never seen anybody do it on their first try.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like,
Yeah, I've never seen anyone do it on their first try.
Me, us, all of us, when we were training it, even my first time, I was like, what you do when you really want to train them is you grab onto something and you literally just walk and then walk back.
All
For
right.
like hours. And you're over here like, I'm on the unstable grass.
Because I
Watch
started
me
on
shake
small
my
ones
hips.
as a kid, but when I started training at our old circus company, they put me on really tall ones, and that was a whole learning curve.
Oh, geez.
So good job.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
Nice. I started with a keg, so.
Are we good?
I
Yeah.
started
All right.
with a
Yeah, that's a wrap.
That is a
I
wrap.
was, I was very tall, Brandt. It was a wonderful dream.
Yeah.
But then I awoke, and here we are, face to face.
I started with
Again.
cute little ones.
Only I'm looking slightly up because I believe you're taller than me, Brandt. Why do you gotta throw that in my face, Brandt?
Stilt thing.
By the way, the original plan was just Jason to do the stilt walking, and like very quickly Jason's like, Brian, do you want to try this?
Yeah.
Do you want to try this, Brian?
I'm glad I did.
God, that was surreal.
Yeah, so we just finished 3 videos with our guests over here.
Yeah, okay, it's one thing to know the words circus and like something juggling, you're like, yeah, it'll be fine. And then all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, you're gonna be doing this, and that. I'm like, oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And it's not even cardio week. So you guys came running in hot all the way from Houston.
Yeah.
So you guys just swooped right in, we threw you right to the wolves. What was your experience like?
I mean, it's always fun to like show people things.
Yeah.
And with all the gigs and stuff that we've been doing, this is different. So this is, I don't know, at least for me, I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin's always a cool place to come to and hang out. You guys have a really cool spot too. So
Yeah, that's
Oh,
that
right on.
TP is awesome.
TP's so cool.
We tell everyone, don't go in there, number one, spiders. Number two, I'm convinced that any moment it'll just go.
I don't know how it's still standing. I have no idea how it's still erect.
That's awesome. God.
that's what she said.
I was about to say, I think we know how, and it's at.
Always keep you
Working in the sponsors when not even the sponsor.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that out. They didn't pay for this video.
Absolutely not.
Guys, if you could get Annaliese your mics.
Everybody left. Annaliese, how are these? They were moving around episodes.
Yeah, it went pretty well actually. We had 5 people and 4 microphones, so we had to do a little swapping out, but it was fine. We managed.
Nice.
Again, nothing exciting to report on audio.
That's great.
Cool.
That's my favorite thing.
That's it.
Good. Please let there never be
All right.
anything.
But also when you're the footage, that gives you another degree of like, oh my god, I couldn't even tell I was doing this.
Sure. Right. Yeah. Right.
Hello, is this
Hi,
a
Bryce.
teardown?
Yes.
Very cool.
I found you.
Yes, you found me. Should we go outside because of the music?
No, it's much worse outside.
Only. It was much louder.
Good to know that can be a thing.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
So we did the Stilts video just
Yeah,
now.
we actually just did 3, but the Stilts was the most recent one.
Right. So we did. Yes, we didn't do a breakdown for the Sumo stuff the other day, did we?
No.
But we recently cleared out the whole sound stage, moved all the flats back, moved all those over, because we had a whole crew of sumo wrestlers, people who were learning sumo, and then this huge mat in here, and so that was another sort of interesting shoot. It was a lot like today's, where it was,
Actually, you know what? We did do a teardown for that one.
oh, okay, yeah. So then,
But good recap.
yeah, good recap. And so it actually ended up meaning that we had a lot of space, probably more space than we needed. I think if we were back at the previous configuration and stuff around the walls, we probably could have gotten everything in here that we wanted. And then, yeah, we moved outside for the stilts because if you fall 10 feet off the ground, help to have some grass there instead of
Yeah.
concrete.
Also, it was nice. It was kind of a sunset shoot.
Yeah. There's a mute button on the top of that Sonos there.
He's like looking at it like somebody's muted.
Yeah. So I bet that's exactly what it is too. just because of all these connected speakers. Yeah. So the stilts was interesting because, like, Brandt, you and I were both kind of free floating on we have shoulder rigs. This is the one I used. I like not having weight. You like weight on yours, don't you, Brandt? A counterweight here in the back.
A little bit, yeah. But I also hold mine in a really weird way that is bad for the back.
Yeah. See, I end up doing this a little more arm lifty because really I just want stability and a grip. I want to be able to make sure I can make adjustments to dutching if there's any like yaw or what have you. And it also gives me the option.
Can you maybe just unplug that? Is that something that's possible?
Perfect.
Thank you.
I think it was turning it off on the other ones as well.
Anyway, you were saying about the.
So I don't like having a weight because I tend to. What? We're recording a teardown.
Constant
There's a speaker
music.
here that we had to unplug because he kept blasting it.
So what do you think about the shoe, man? What does fucking water?
How you doing?
We're trying.
So I like my shoulder rig without a weight on it because I'll either just hold it by the hands or I will like cup it under and kind of manually control it like that.
Yeah.
I kind of have shaky hands and stuff, so I don't like hand holding very much, especially if it's not a wide lens. And so this gives me just a little bit of extra stability. I almost wonder if we should look into getting those like steering wheel sort of. You've seen those, right? The big wheel rigs. Those might be neat. Just because that's the kind of that's how I end up doing it freestyle, which is a little lower. I usually do very little actual shoulder mounting.
Yeah, myself as well. Okay, so what I typically do is I end up trying to find as many like points of contact as possible because that's how you get the most stabilization. So I kind of usually end up doing like some weird thing here because you don't want to put too much pressure on the HDMI port. So I kind of like nestle my hand under here. This one's got a little weird mount, but on mine that's kind of open, so I can kind of put my hand under there, and then I can get focus, and then I kind of rest the shoulder pad on my hip. So that way I can kind of push up against it, and then I've got like 3-4 points of contact, and it's pretty stable. But you know, sometimes you gotta bounce back and forth between up here and down there, just depending on what angle looks best on the person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. But otherwise, a cool batch of episodes. Yeah, between the stilts and then we did juggling earlier and acro. Not acrobat, but acro.
Yeah.
Which is less, if I remember this right, it's less flying and less air stuff. It's,
Less flipping
yeah.
and more of just like body balancing kind of stuff.
Yeah. And so the guys did some of that, and I think all three of those ended up coming out really good. And I think in terms of time, you know, we had an okay shoot day.
Yeah.
For length, you know, between a bunch of physical stuff and doing an outdoor setup. Yeah, but the Circus crew were really cool. They seem like really cool cats. So thanks again to them for joining us.
Yeah, and we did a little bit of a different camera setup for the last two, where we kind of a little bit closer to how Scam Nation is shot.
Yeah.
Where we had usually we'll have a 3-camera setup. We'll have one camera plop down doing the kind of wide center shot. We'll have one over to the side, and then we'll have another over to the side. In this case, we had 2 kind of wide-angle lenses, both off to the side. No real center camera, so that way we could get as close as possible and move around a little bit. And then we had Jeff over here operating a 50 millimeter, and we just said, hey, get whatever you can get. And we won't rely on it, but if you could get some stuff, then that'll be helpful.
Which is the greatest possible scenario for me, because then I can just play with it and all the pressure's off and I don't have to worry about it, which is great. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not a filmmaker, but it's fun to learn, and you guys are always very helpful and advice. And but yeah, it was. I mean, to just get a feel for a camera and to not have that pressure and to be able to just move it around and see what I could get. And I'm eager to actually hear what if any of what I shot will be used in the actual episodes. So
I have that a lot with Modern Rogue episodes.
Yeah.
Where I'll usually be shooting something, and I'm not involved in the edit process on it all. So sometimes I'll go in and watch, especially specific episodes where it's like, okay, I know I had like the good angle on this, so what got used or not. And so it's always fun to see those, and then you get to see kind of everybody else's angle, and you're like, oh, okay, so that, oh yeah, and so yeah, so I think this will be a very similar one because Brandt and I, we didn't really have any set assignments between the two of us other than we would be wide and moving around.
Yeah.
And when usually, especially in our normal 3-camera setup, we're usually a little more like, okay, you focus on getting faces and reactions, you kind of stay wider, you know, you go in on details on like, you know, assembling and putting stuff together. But yeah, it's not every episode, but every so often, especially when we do something cool like the Stilts or one of the bottle rocket ones that we did a while ago. I remember going back and checking did we get this shot? How did this shot look? Especially because bottle rockets are always so fast.
Yep.
And you just never, you hope you got it. So yeah.
Yeah, and also talking about assignments, like you and I, you and I, we've done this long enough and worked together long enough that there's a sort of a rhythm with camera work, and you could tell that even though we didn't set out to say, oh, I'm gonna get this, you're gonna get that, we really just it filled up at some point. I don't know how much of that got recorded anyway. Long story short, camera balance, kind of rhythm between experienced camera operators. It'll be fun to see what footage gets used, and good shoot.
Good shoot. Really shoot, everybody.
Good shoot. Yep. I'm pretty sure they got the whole experience right there.
Thank you for watching.
Yep, bye.